So per your request, because a lot of agents have been asking a lot of requests on how they use the Realtor Dash. So he's here to show you what is on your Realtor Dash, because a lot of us don't know what that is. Okay, so Michael's gonna start the meeting, and if you have any questions, just let them know. Okay?
Do you want to turn the music off?
Turn the music off. Oh.
The Gangnam Style, it's distracting. I almost want to do the dance. I still remember. All right, good afternoon, everyone. I know we have people on Zoom too, so I may ask you guys to take a look at the screen. If you see the little blinker for the chat, let me know. I'll pop in there. But welcome. Again, my name is Michael Hidalgo. I'm the Regional Vice President of Broker Engagement for BeachesMLS. As you guys are probably well aware, Paulina is one of our very honored leadership positions. She is our director, and we appreciate everything she does for our association. And so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go over the MyRealtor dashboard, because there's a lot of new things on there you probably haven't seen. Most of you probably go in there just to use the MLS, maybe one of your transaction management softwares, but there's a lot of tools and benefits available to you on the dashboard. This class is going to be recorded, so Paulina is going to put that into your personal Century 21 Global Connections education library, so you guys can reference that again. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. We're going to be here probably for the next hour and a half going over your dashboard. So when you log onto your dash, the first thing is, let me actually log out here. You go to MyRealtorDash.com. This is available on any internet-ready device. And the reason I point that out is oftentimes you guys are out in the field. You may be out somewhere where you don't have your laptop, but guess what? You can access your dashboard anywhere you can get internet. If you have a Tesla or somewhere that has internet in the car, you can access it from your center console. If you're here in the office, you can do it from a TV. Some of the other reasons I like to include that is because we do have our chat available, which I'll show you later on, 7 days a week. So for example, let's say that you're showing property and your super is malfunctioning. You can actually be in the driveway of the property, go into your web browser on your phone, log into your dashboard, go to the chat and talk directly to one of our staff members to help you with your Supra. Let's say you access and you put a listing in on a Sunday, you put too many zeros. And now instead of a $500,000 listing, you put it as a $5 million listing. And now you want to make sure that that doesn't reflect in your property history, right? We can help you with that. Okay, so I point that out. It's any internet ready device. So when you log in, you'll notice that your browser now allows you to save your password. That's something that your MLS committee put forth at the end of last year, which is very convenient for you guys, but don't worry, there's still security on your dashboard. And we encourage you not to share your login. If anytime you get an assistant in the future, we encourage you to sign them up as an assistant level access where they can shadow you and do all the work you need as far as searching for properties, modifying your listings, doing auto emails, doing CMAs, all that fun stuff. They can do that, but they'll have their own login credentials. That way they're not sharing yours, okay? So let me go ahead and log in. And while I'm logging in, I'm going to talk to you about some of the safety features in the dashboard. So number one, there is keystroke monitoring. And what is that, Michael? I have no idea what keystroke monitoring is. So if we both type in the same password, your system can detect how you type it and how I type it with rhythm and speed. So if you type it in different rhythms and speed, if someone's using your login, the system will say this is potentially a login sharing situation. So it can detect how fast and the rhythm and speed that you type in your password. It also detects your IP address. It detects concurrent logins. So yes, you can use your login on different devices, but if it starts to be multiple devices at the same time, it may flag it as there's a security breach. So they're to protect your information, okay? And the reason it protects your information, once you log in, you'll notice that your dashboard for your convenience is all single sign-on. It's called SSO, which means once you log in with your password, it's not going to ask you for another password to get into the MLS. It's not going to ask you for another password to get into your transaction management, all your different programs. That's there to be convenience for you, but it's also, that's why we have more security getting into the dashboard, correct? All right, so what we're going to do today is I'm going to go over every section of your dashboard. We're going to go tile by tile. I'm going to tell you what the tile is for. I'm going to tell you if it's a free service, if it's a subscription-based service, and how that project, or that product is going to benefit your business. Now, the reason I love teaching this class is sometimes as agents, you guys are paying third-party vendors for certain things, and I love it when I see someone go, oh, that's on the dashboard for free? Okay, I can stop paying for that, and therefore I am helping you save money, work more efficiently. I love seeing that because you guys pay for so much as it is, right? I know how it is. I used to be an agent and save money where you can. So We'll go tile by tile. Do I have any Flex users here, or are you on Matrix? Everyone's Matrix here, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. The reason I asked that is because there are certain tiles that are Flex related tiles, and I'll go ahead and skip over those. If your dashboard looks different than mine, don't worry, because I have things that you possibly don't have on yours. So we'll go over the Matrix related products here today. All right. So in the top right corner, I just want to quickly point out, we have social media. We're on every platform. I encourage you to follow us. We're Broward, Palm Beaches, and St. Lucie Realtors. Follow us for just fun stuff. It's not always serious stuff with us. We might share some events. We may share, hey, guess what? Our CEO was just listed on this recent poll. They're getting recognition. We share those exciting things to show you how involved and how recognized your board is in the real estate industry. So we share them on Facebook, on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, etc. All of those are searchable. You'll notice there is a contact us section at the top right of the page. Under contact us, this is your support landing page. And you can always go to your web browser as well. It's at ourworld.com/intouch. And the reason I point this out is because there are several different ways you can get in touch with us or get support from us. You could do it live in person by visiting one of our offices. You can do it online by emailing us. You can call us, of course. And you also have our chat services. So you can get in touch with us all these different ways. We do have staff that are multilingual. So we do have people that speak Spanish. We have French speakers. I think we have one Italian person, and we have some Portuguese people as well. So any support you need in your specific language, you can get that as well. Our mainline number for the association is right here. It's 561-585-4544. I would encourage you to program that into your mobile device, because again, as you guys are working out in the field, you may say, I need to get in touch with them because maybe my payment didn't go through for my renewal, or maybe my super is not working, or maybe I need to call about an MLS question and you don't have the number. You don't need to necessarily go online, have it in your phone. That way you could easily call it. That mainline number can get you routed to any department you need. So if you need to call MLS versus compliance versus membership, you don't need to memorize every single department number. Just call that number and we can route you accordingly. You'll also notice on the bottom left of your screen here, let me hide these Zoom controls. Hide. There we go. On the bottom right, you'll see that pink button. Everybody see that pink button, chat now? That's where you can talk directly to one of our staff members. I don't know about you guys, but if I ever go onto a website and they say, ask us your question, normally you're talking to a computerized algorithm, right? They have pre-made responses and they go, oh, was that helpful? And oftentimes I'm like, no, that wasn't helpful. Let me talk to a human being. You talk directly to one of our staff members. We have staff that are always watching that chat. We're the only association in South Florida that offers weekend and holiday support to our members. So other associations, Friday at 5, they go down, they just stop listening, you go straight to voicemail, and then they reply to your email or your voicemail probably Monday morning at 9 a.m. As I said before, you guys don't stop working, so why should your support stop working, right? So we have weekend hours and holiday hours as well to assist you guys. So Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then on weekends and holidays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. All right, so then you talk directly to a staff member. If you have questions about classes, events, maybe you're worried about your CE credits for your license renewal, you have questions about code of ethics, maybe you're new and you have questions about, when's the next new member orientation, or when's the next designation course, etc. We can answer all of those questions through the chat. So keep that in mind, especially on weekends. We get a lot of questions on the weekends where it's like, hey, I'm showing a property and my Supra is not working. Well, maybe you forgot to renew your Supra. Or maybe the PIN number you put in is wrong and you want to change it. We can help you with those things out in the field mobily. All right, so that's the chat. Down below, you're going to see emails and phone numbers for specific departments. Just really quickly what those departments do. Membership handles your membership dues. They also handle, things like your contact information. So even though in Matrix, you guys can update your phone numbers and email addresses, that does not update those on other things like Realtor.com or within your transaction desk or Form Simplicity. That all stuff comes from the membership record. So they will handle all of those things. Education, if you have questions about any classes, designations, certifications, code of ethics, those sort of things, education is your department. MLS support. They will help you with any of your products or services. If you have questions about listings or any of the input fields in your listings, that's where you go to them for MLS support. And then compliance. Compliance is the department that is going to regulate and make sure you guys are following the rules. They're like the police of the MLS, right? They make sure you're following code of ethics. that you're putting data into the MLS properly in all the fields, et cetera. So if you had to report anything, you can contact them. And then we have vendor support for extended support as well. So you have classes, support for Flex, Matrix, IMAP, and Supra. There's contact information there. They are open weekends as well, so feel free to use those. And then lastly, for in-person support, we have 8 office locations. So believe it or not, we are the 3rd largest association in the country as far as membership, but we're one of the largest associations in the country as far as geographic area. We cover 130 miles of coastline from Broward all the way up through St. Lucie County. So we have 8 office locations spread out throughout. The reason I point out all 8 is you guys are mostly Broward based, right? You guys work in Broward, but however, you are able to do deals in Palm Beach, up in Treasure Coast, and don't feel like you can't go into those offices. Even though you are located in Broward, it doesn't mean you're only able to go to the Broward offices. All 8 locations are full service. You can go in without an appointment. You can get super services. You can get coffee. You can do printing. You can have closings there if you want to reserve office space to meet clients or have closings there. We can offer those to you as well. So there's 4 offices here in Broward. You guys are actually positioned in between 2 of the offices, almost equidistant. So you have one in Hollywood, which is the Hollywood Chamber office in Hollywood Circle. Then we also have our Pines office, which is right a couple blocks over here from on Taft and Palm and Pines Boulevard, right by the mall. Then we have an office in Fort Lauderdale, Tamarack. In Palm Beach County, we have Boca Raton, West Palm Beach, and Palm Beach Gardens. And then all the way up north, we have one in Port St. Lucie. Again, all these offices are open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And you can go in for anything, any service you need support, et cetera. All right. So again, that is your support options. Down below that, where you see your name, the only thing I want to point out here is where you can change your MLS login password. So if you ever feel like, I don't like that password, or maybe you forgot the password, or maybe, you know, someone you has it that now you don't want them to have it. Remember, we discourage sharing, but you know, sometimes it happens inadvertently. You can change your password as often as you like there. Now, if you ever forget your password, at that login screen, when you go to log in, on the bottom of the login screen, you'll see a link that says forgot password. Click on that, it will send you an email to the email we have on file with a reset link to change your password. All right. Notice this little timer here. If you ever wonder what that timer is for? Well, that timer, it allows you to go to work for 8 hours straight. If you're working in the dashboard 8 hours straight, you know, maybe you are, maybe you're not. Hopefully you're not working 8 hours straight, but it allows you, it has a timer. And the reason for the timer is because it will log out after 8 hours. It will also log out after 30 to 45 minutes of inactivity. Why does that benefit you? Well, as realtors, you get a phone call on your listing, you got to go show it. Sometimes you're quick to run out the door. You forget, hey, I'm logged into the public computer at my kid's school, or maybe my laptop is sitting here at the office open. That's a security measure to make sure that after 30 minutes of inactivity, it logs out and requires you to put a password in. So someone can't sneak into your computer.
What is that timer?
The timer is right here under session time. You'll see it little right next to your name in the upper right corner. You should see a little timer that's counting down. So after 30 minutes of inactivity or 8 hours of straight activity, it will log out automatically. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go into our sections here. I want to quickly just breeze through and show you that each of these sections is broken down into your local, state, and national resources. So as you guys may or may not be aware of, when you pay your dues to us every year, that covers your local dues, your MLS access, your state dues to Florida Realtors, and your NAR dues. And there are benefits that are there for each tier of your membership. So that's why they're broken down in different categories. So we're going to be going over each of those categories today. So I'm going to start my way up here. I'm going to start here in the upper right corner, and I'm going to work my way clockwise and go over all those tiles. So we're going to start here under the association resources section. This is all internal for you as the member, okay? So nothing in this section is really going to be geared towards your clients or your customers. This is all here for you. So the first thing here I want to point out is under the profile. If you haven't been in your profile in a while, you're going to find some things here like your contact information. You're going to see where you can display different languages you speak. You'll also be able to see a directory as well as your order. So first thing I want to show you is when it shows you your main section. This is where it's going to have information here that's displaying on your profile. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you ever change your email address or your phone number, make sure you let our membership team know, because just because you change it here in the profile, that doesn't update other things like your MLS account or your transaction desk or Form Simplicity. And then that won't syndicate to things like Realtor.com, etc. So make sure you let us know when those change. You also have a section that says personal information and photo. This is where you can add a photo to your MLS. And if you're ever wondering how is someone's headshot showing in their matrix, well, they've added it in matrix, but you also could edit it here where it's shown in our directory that I want to show you in just a few minutes. In this section, a lot of agents also miss where they can put in their different languages. Now, how many of you guys speak multiple languages outside of English? There you go. Now, how many of you would like to receive referral opportunities based off that language, right? So this section, if you check off, for example, if you speak Spanish or speak French, you can go ahead and check off your language here, click save in your profile, and that way other agents can search our member directory and be able to search for specific languages. We have over 43,000 members here at BeachesMLS, and there are many languages spoken. So if you ever have a referral opportunity and someone here in your office doesn't speak that language, go ahead and take a look through the member directory, which I'm going to show you in just a few minutes. But this is, it's under personal information and photo under your profile. And that's where you can select the languages you speak. Personal info. Once you're in your profile, go to personal info and photo, scroll down a bit. You'll see all of the list of languages there. Check off the language you speak. I would say if you can do business in those languages, check them off. For example, I'm not fluent in Spanish to do business, but I'm fluent enough in Spanish to order drinks and food at a resort or at a bar, right? I can order food in Spanish, but I wouldn't be able to manage your transaction in Spanish. So therefore, I probably wouldn't put Spanish in my profile. So make sure you're business proficient in that language. You also able to save your credit card information here. So most of the time, the only time you'll really get charged by the association outside of your MLS dues is sometimes if you take specific events have charges, or maybe designation courses and certifications have charges. In that case, you can actually save your credit card information into your profile to make it easier for you to pay. You can do that by clicking payment information, and then you can go ahead and update your profile there. Now, how many of you guys take advantage of our dues installment plans when you renew, right? Where you can pay every month and spread those payments out. What happens if maybe you lose your credit card, or maybe you know that credit card is stolen and you want to get a new credit card, or maybe you got a new one because it was expiring and now you have the same number, same credit card account, but the expiration date is different, right? You can contact us, but you also can come here to your profile. If you have it saved here in your account, you can go ahead and update your credit card that's on file. If you ever want to change where your payment is going to, you can do that here as well. The last thing is you're going to see the My Orders section. So the reason I point out My Orders at the top of your profile is because that's where you'll find all of your invoice receipts for any payments made to the association. So come tax time, we're approaching tax time for 2023, right? Believe it or not, you guys can claim as a business expense, claim your real estate dues, your renewals, claim that as a business expense. Your accountant will probably say, I need a receipt, right? Well, where do you get that receipt? Go up to My Orders and you'll see everything you pay for through the association. Some of it may be claimable, deductible, some of it may not, but contact your accountant for that. But if they ask for receipts, it's there for you. And it goes back several years. So if you ever want to make his comparisons to things you paid for years prior, you can do that as well. Any questions on your profile? All right. Next thing I want to move on to is the button that says Pay Bill. So when it comes time for renewals or any outstanding balances you have, you can click on Pay Bill, and it's going to show you exactly what your account looks like. If you have a zero balance, it'll say zero. If you owe for your super, it'll say for your super. If you're for dues renewal, it will show you your invoice, which includes your local, state, and national. Below that, you're going to see a calendar. So I'm going to quickly demo the calendar for you to show you where you can find all of our classes and events. Things can be virtual or in person. Everything is on the calendar, and I'll tell you the difference on how you know whether it's virtual versus in person. So clicking on the calendar, you can go ahead and search for classes or events that are coming up. There's ways to search either by searching for keywords or by actually searching by the dates, and I'll show you those in just a moment. Now, the first thing I want to point out is when you log into the calendar for the very first time, it's going to ask you to confirm your email address. And the reason for that is because it wants to recognize you as the member, because you're able to view your individual registrations on your calendar. So you can click view my registrations, and it's going to show you anything that you're registered to attend, whether it's classes, upcoming events, etc. That way you can make sure that you don't miss it. Now, we do send reminders before classes happen, but oftentimes your email, sometimes you don't catch them right away, and you might miss a class, which we don't want you to do. At the top of this, you'll notice there is a search bar. So the search bar is great because you can type in specific categories or keywords to find things on the calendar that match that. So say, for example, that you want to take a contracts class to bone up on your contract knowledge. You could go day by day and browse the calendar, which could take a lot of time, right? But it's easier to type into the search bar. Let's say we'll look up contracts. And make sure you spell correctly. Here we go. So type in contracts, and we'll notice that what pops up is there's a class on March 1st for commercial contracts. So that's the next one coming up. So it'll come up. There'll be residential contracts probably in the future as well, but nothing coming up in the immediate future. So you can use that keyword for other things. Let's say you wanted to search and you're going to take a class on transaction desk. You can type in transaction desk. And again, make sure you spell correctly. There we go. And typing in transaction desk, I see that there's a virtual class in a couple weeks on the 15th for transaction desk and Authenticsign. Okay. So those are, again, just a way to search for keywords for upcoming classes and events. Below that, you're going to see that there is a visual of your calendar. It goes based off months, 3 months at a time. Using the arrows on either side, you can go forward or backwards in the calendar. You'll notice that when you look here, today's date will be highlighted in green or teal, right? So today's February 6th. Now, you'll notice that other days will be highlighted in pink. That means there's something scheduled on that day. As you can see, there's pretty much something always scheduled every day of the month. Usually generally not the weekends though. However, if you click on a specific day, the calendar will change to view what's available that day. So let's say that I am available for classes or events on February 13th, next Tuesday. If I click on the 13th under the February calendar, you'll notice that the calendar updates and then shows you everything on the 13th. So I can see here that there is a CE class for at home with diversity. There's a webinar on being financially savvy. There is a mix and mingle that evening up in Wellington and Palm Beach County. That's a networking event. And then there's a CE class available for hardware-based negotiations. You'll notice here that there is color coding here because I said that there's events and classes here. Things that are in person are outlined in blue, and they'll say in person. And they'll also tell you where they're located. So TC here stands for what office it's in. So TC would be Treasure Coast. TAM would be Tamarack, which would be here in Broward. West Palm Beach would be WPB, etc. So they'll try to tell you where they're located. They'll also tell you if there's a CE offering, they'll tell you the number of CEs that are available for that class. Now, if it's a virtual class or event, you'll see it in green and it'll say virtual. And then the class or event will always say webinar in the title. We work very hard to make sure that you don't mix it up and that you go somewhere in person when it's online and vice versa. We learned that very early on when we switched everything during COVID. We learned when we switched to virtual that sometimes people mix up what's in person, what's webinar. So we made that change. When you click on reserve your spot, you'll notice that yes, ma'am. TC is Treasure Coast, and then TAM is Tamarack. So if you click on, when you click on the actual event, when you open it up, it'll tell you more information. So for example, it'll tell you the location. Now, if it's virtual, it'll always say Our World Campus, and we'll talk about the campus momentarily. If it's in person, it'll tell you the location and give you the address as well as the instructor of that class. Now, what I like about our calendar is that most of your classes are free. versus other associations which may charge you a nominal fee per class. So all we do is ask you to reserve your spot simply for attendance and forecasting purposes. If a class is very well attended and registration sells out very quickly, that tells us that this is a high demand class and we will add more offerings on the calendar. Now, if the class that we offer virtually and there's not much attendance, we may try to do it in person. We might try to switch up the program, either do it in person or maybe we'll do it if it's scheduled in the afternoon and there's low attendance or low registration, maybe we say that may be better for a morning session, right? So we use that analytic to help you guys tell us what your demand is. And from here, you're also able to add that to your personal calendar. So you'll see here, I can add it to my Outlook calendar, my Google calendar, or my iCalendar. All right. All right. So now we know how to search by keywords or by specific dates. Let's say we're looking for types of classes. So you'll notice that there are tags under your calendar as well. If I click view all tags, it will expand. Now, what's cool about tags is you'll see different numbers next to that tag. For example, let's say that Geraldine, you wanted to take some CE classes because you have your renewal coming up in March and you fell behind a little bit. So now you have to take some CE classes. Notice that there's a class here that says free CE. So there's no charges for those CE classes. And notice that means there's 39, next to that means there's 39 opportunities for CE credits coming up on the calendar over the next few months, right? So if I click on that free CE, it will recalibrate my calendar to show me upcoming classes that offer CE offerings that are free of charge. So you can scan through those, so you'll see all the different dates where CE classes are offered. Other types of tags is you'll see that there are tags for in-person classes. So if you want something that's in person at specific locations, you'll see tags for that. There's also tags for things like social media. If you want to take social media classes, all of them will be there under that tag. There's contracts and leases. There's also technology tag, ethics, taxes, tags for fair housing, etc. You name it, you can customize your calendar based off those tags. Anybody have any questions? Pretty cool, right? So again, everything is found in this calendar as far as education and events. So I would encourage you, try to plan out your schedules. I think the best part about being a realtor, right, is that you are an independent contractor, which means you are the boss of your schedule. You can plan out what you want. So try to figure out when you can have some downtime from your clients and use that time to supplement your education or networking opportunities. All right, back to our dashboard. To the left of the calendar is your Our World campus. So what the Our World campus is your one-stop shop for all of your virtual education. How many of you guys in the past have ever had to log on to a virtual meeting or a class and you're like, uh-oh, I don't know where the join link is. I can't see how to get in, right? I'm sure it's happened to all of you guys. What I love about the Our World campus is when you sign up for a virtual class or an event, it will not only send you a reminder the day before of your class, but it's also going to, in the Our World campus, have the link to your Zoom. So you don't have to worry about finding in your email anymore. It's already in the campus. If there's any attachments or any class documents that you need for that class, they'll be there in the campus as well. And later on, if that class is recorded or that event is recorded, you don't have to wait for the recording to be sent to your inbox. It will be housed there where you've always referenced that in the Our World campus. So again, anything webinar or virtual related will be there in your Our World campus. Underneath that, you have a button for RPAC. So I'm sure Paulina has all talked to you guys about RPAC and the Realtor Political Action Committee and how to get involved with that. You can invest in that directly by clicking on Invest in RPAC. And if you have a credit card on file, it makes it that much easier to get involved with that. To the right of that, you'll notice there is a committees icon. That committee icon is where you can sign up to get involved with the association. All right. So what's unique about our association at BeachesMLS is we are very member driven and operated. Other associations have corporate leaders where they tell you what goes on. They tell you about policies. Here at Our World, you tell us, you let us know what you want. So all the policies, all the classes, all of the products and services are approved by members and brought to you by members. So for example, under committees, there is an MLS committee. That MLS committee is where groups of like you will get together and say, let's talk about the MLS. What are things that you would like to see in the MLS as far as a field? what fields would you like to be required versus optional? Very important. So as our industry changes, certain criteria change, right? And you guys would be the ones having that conversation. The MLS committee also demos products. So when there's a new product that comes up and you guys would actually beta test it and say, you know what, this product is actually superior to something we're currently offering. So we would vote and nominate to replace that product with this new product, right? So the MLS committee is what is the one driving your MLS. So if you guys feel like, well, why is that the way it is? I would like to see that change. I would encourage you, sign up for a committee and be part of that conversation. Committee signups generally happen at October of each year for the following year, but there are wait lists and there are times where positions become open throughout the year. So if you're interested in getting involved in that, talk to Paulina, because she can pull some strings because she's the director of the corporate board. She can get you connected to the right people to get you involved. And that's how leadership really starts. So the way Paulina rose the leadership ladder with our association is she joined a committee. From the committee, she became a regional board member. Then she became the vice president of the South Broward region. And then she was on the corporate board, and now she's a director. So if you have ambition to get higher up, she's also a Florida director, and she hopefully will go on to NAR leadership positions as well. But if you have that ambition, that's where you start. You get on a committee and you work your way through the leadership channels. All right. Last in this section is your Our World video. So this is pretty cool. This launched last year. This is also available on the App Store. So anywhere you get your apps on your phone or on your TV, it's available there. So what you'll see under Our World videos is there's different categories. Number one, you're going to see our podcast, which is by our immediate past president, Chris Kresman. You can watch all the different podcasts there on demand. You'll also see all of our Only a Realtor campaign commercials. So if you haven't watched those before, these are great. I know a lot of realtors, they download the Our World videos onto the during their open houses. They download it to their customers' TV and they start playing the commercial during the open house. And it's just really cool. I don't know a lot of associations that have an app that says, here, play our commercials, watch our podcast, etc. But for you guys as agents, what's really beneficial is you'll notice that there's a section called Education on Demand. So if you ever miss a class or you say, oh, I took a class, but I still have questions, watch the class again. There's a pre-recorded version of that class. So you can take MLS as many times as you want. If you're sick or maybe you're home with the kids when they're on break and you can't leave them to go to a class, guess what? This can supplement your classes. I always tell other agents, if you are new to the business and you're still working that 9-to-5 job and you're trying to get to real estate full time, but you can't make all the classes, this is a great way to supplement. So you watch them on demand. The only drawback is if you have questions, there's no live person to ask your questions. But guess what? You can always ask your questions in the chat on the dashboard, right? So take a look through that as well to supplement your education. So as you saw before, we offer education in 3 formats, right? We have education in person. So you go to our auditoriums, their classes live in person. If you want to take them as a webinar, you can stay home, watch them in your pajamas, watch them virtually via Zoom. And you also have on-demand classes as well. So use that, to supplement your education, whatever works for you and your schedule. Any questions? All right, so that's your association resources section. The next one is I want to go ahead and I don't need to plug this back in. Can you plug this in there for me? Sure. The computer doesn't die on us. There we go. There we go. Perfect. All right. So next, let's move on down to association quick links. There's a section right here. This is where you're going to find information about supplemental membership opportunities and benefits that you guys can take part in. So first off here, you're going to find the tile for the Realtor Party. That is RPAC. For anybody here not familiar with the Realtor Party. Okay, what the Realtor Party is, think of it as your union as a realtor, right? They are the ones that on the local level, state level, and national level will go and lobby for your rights. They also lobby for home ownership rights for your clients. So what they do on the local level is they attend municipal meetings. They go to all the chamber meetings, the city meetings. They have relationships with your mayors and your city commissioners. They also do candidate screening. We are now in election year this year. It's very important that we are connected to the local leaders, right? So what your RPAC and Realtor Party members do, and our Government Affairs Committee does, is that the mayors and city commissioners that are running for election this year, we meet with them, we interview them. We ask them, what are your positions on this? For example, what are your positions on short-term rentals, Airbnbs, et cetera, things that are affecting your job and your clients, right? We ask those questions, they give us answers, we endorse the candidates that help you, that will help realtors and real estate industry, right? We also go to Tallahassee. Every year they have called GARD, it's called Great American Realtor Days, where realtors go to Tallahassee, they actually sit face to face with the city legislators. And they say, this is what we're facing, right? This is what problems we have. This is what we would like you to have on your mind when you're in Congress and talking about statewide issues, right? Things like condo reform, things like, taxes, insurance, right? Those are all important things. That's what realtors can, RPAC can do. Actually, back in 2020, RPAC was the reason that we were deemed essential during the first lockdown during COVID. Other states, realtors weren't allowed to work for those first several months while we were in lockdown. So imagine how hard it would have been for you if you couldn't put food on the table and you're stuck at home and you couldn't work. Other people had that. We fought for that. Governor DeSantis made us essential at that time. And then on the national level, they lobby in Washington. They are the largest. We are the largest trade organization in the country, real estate agents, right? So I would encourage you to get involved with RPAC and Realtor Party. You'll notice throughout the year they have fundraising events. They ask for donations. They do auctions. That's where your money goes. Your money goes to help defend you on different levels and make sure that all of our rights as realtors, real estate agents, and property owners are protected. All right. To the right of that, you're going to see online education. And under online education is where you'll see some of our educational partners. So under educational partners you'll find discounts for our different related partners. So we have partnered with NAR, Florida Realtors, the CE Shop, the Center for Realtor Development, and Van Education Center. So you can actually get discounts, and Gold Coast as well. Discounts ranging from 10% to 30% on online classes and education. So for example, let's say that you wanted to get your broker's license. Before you take your broker pre-licensing, go ahead and go through either Gold Coast or Van Ed or the CE Shop and do your pre-licensing through them. You can get up to 30% off on that class. If you're doing your 14-hour renewals, you can do them directly through them as well, or any designations, their code of ethics, etc. So consider that when you are going to do any kind of education online, you can go ahead and use the discount as an R World member. The discounts are automatically applied when you check out through the dashboard here. All right. Next up, I'm going to quickly breeze over and consolidate some of these tiles. And I want to talk about some of your supplemental membership opportunities. So we're going to talk about commercial. We're going to talk about global and YPN. Some of you guys may already be members of those, which is great. But these are supplemental memberships that are in addition to your annual general membership. So commercial. How many of you guys do commercial real estate? How many of you would like to learn to do commercial real estate, right? All right, so that's a great opportunity. As an RC, it's called RCA, which is the Realtor Commercial Alliance. And that is $50 a year on top of your general membership. And they give you access to a commercial dashboard, which I'll show you later on. And they also give you access to free classes, free events. They give you different resources for commercial real estate. Commercial is very different than residential. Residential is more about, everything's on the MLS, everything's online. Commercial is more about everything's like hush hush. It's very secret. It's almost like when there's prohibition, it's like, well, what do you have? What do you have? It's very much who you know. Where residential is more emotionally based. Commercial is more statistics and numerical return on investment based, right? So there's a different approach to it. I would encourage you guys to learn it because it's a different way for you to get income. And what's really great is when inventory is low, guess what? Commercial agents, which are residential and commercial proficient agents, they can just switch gears. They can say, oh, residential inventory is low, but I can still go over here and rent warehouses, sell businesses, and you can increase your income stream. So to join that, I'll simply click Commercial Alliance, and you'll be able to, once you register, you get access to that, and you'll get information about commercial offerings and education networking events. Our Global Alliance. So that is also a supplemental membership that's $50 a year. And basically they have resources to help you expand your business on a global scale. You get access to a global referral network, other agents and other sources of referrals throughout the world. We are the exclusive affiliate to Cofeci Gressi in Brazil. That's the MLS in Brazil. We are also the exclusive ambassador to the UK. And they are actually going to be doing a trip, a mission this year. They're going up to London later in the year, where they're going to go to the NAR equivalent over there in Europe. Keep in mind, we are very organized here in the US when it comes to real estate. We have the National Association of Realtors, we have associations, there are laws and rules that are applicable to real estate. Other countries may not be that organized. So it's really important that you go and you say, how are other countries doing real estate and how can I get involved? How can I team up with agents or real estate practitioners in different countries? That way, when your customers leave America or leave South Florida to live abroad, you're able to maximize that opportunity for them. All right. And next up, we have YPN. So YPN stands for Young Professionals Network. And this is funny because young does not mean that you are young in your 20s. Young means that you are young in your real estate career. Keep in mind, real estate, sometimes this is someone's second or third career. They could have retired. We have a lot of ex-military. We have a lot of former police officers, first responders, and then they get into real estate, maybe athletes, and that was their first career. So they're younger in their career. And when you're younger in your career, you don't know what you don't know. So that whole group is based off of helping people that are newer to real estate get their feet wet, know their resources, network with one another. There is a free membership opportunity at YPN. There's also a paid for additional member benefits. So take advantage of that. You'll see education offerings on the calendar for YPN, different mixers, different opportunities for education. And that's where you can get information on that. All right, under member benefits, I'm going to quickly just highlight something under member benefits. If you look at member benefits, we can't go through all of these because we'd be here all afternoon. But you'll see here some of the exclusive products and services from BeachesMLS, and we're going to cover many of these here today. But if you ever wonder, like, what do I get with my membership? You get all of these things built into your membership. And that is something to really be proud of, because other associations, I can tell you, we're working as a staff member, we work with other maybe smaller associations in different parts of the country and the state. I can tell you that we are light years of other associations. I was dealing with a transfer situation to a member that went to a smaller board in Central Florida. That board up in Central Florida does not take credit cards. They only take checks, and you have to fill out an application paper-wise. They don't accept email applications. You have to drop it off by hand. And they're very antiquated, but they're very small and they're very old school. So that's at Central Florida, I believe it was like Indian River County, like just imagine, like, so they're not all the same. So that it makes you really appreciate the things that you have. Like, we do everything digitally. We have 43,000 members. I think they only have like 1,000 members. So it's very small, but what I'm saying is, like, we're not all cut from the same cloth. So that's why looking at these member benefits is really beneficial, because sometimes some of those smaller boards are very limited. All right. Foundations. We also have charity foundations that we partner with. There's 3 of them. Those foundations focus on different things like affordable housing. We also have a Pay It Forward Foundation, which is geared towards our realtor members. So basically, let's say, for example, you have a hardship. Let's say that you, let's, God forbid, you become paralyzed, and it becomes very hard for you don't do real estate for a while. You can't pay your dues. You have, no money to stay in the business. Fill out an application. You're able to get reviewed by the charitable foundation, and they have money allotted to help realtors in times of need. So whatever the case is, just know that that is there for you. If you become a hardship, we don't want to see you leave the business. We don't want to see you have to quit doing what you're doing because of some unforeseen circumstance that are out of your control. Fill out the application, they review those, they interview you, and they can actually help you monetarily get back in the business or stay in the business and be able to put food on your table. So that's what the Pay It Forward Foundation is. There's also affordable housing, and they do a lot of charity work for different foundations as well. So if you're somebody who wants to give back, I would say get involved with them. They have events where you can donate your time and money to them as well. And more information on those foundations here under this tile. All right, next up, we have our 2 directories. So we have an affiliate directory and a realtor directory. I'm going to go and show you how to do both, but quickly I want to talk about our affiliate member program. So our affiliates are different vendors they join the board just like you guys do, and you guys see them all the time. You see them at Marketing Madness, you see them at events. These are your lenders, your title companies, your inspectors. They come and they're your sponsors. They pay membership just like you. We have about 600 different affiliates, all through different types of businesses. So what I would encourage you guys, I know that through Century 21, you guys get a whole plethora of vendors to work with and strategic partners. But I would encourage you, before you send someone off of Google or Angie's List to your customer, look at the affiliate directory, because one, they pay membership dues here, which means, they're invested into your association. We vet them. We make sure they're licensed and insured. We make sure they're reputable companies. That way you're not taking a risk by sending some not insured person to your clients, right? And then having to deal with that. But again, these are the ones that sponsor your classes and events. They give back and they're great to work with. So take a look through there. So let's go ahead and do some demo of your directory. So we have a member directory. We also have the affiliate directory. How do I use that? Well, this is your member search. Let's do that one first. Under member type is where you'll find the dropdown to be able to switch out of affiliate and realtor. Now, YPN Elite members, if you sign up for YPN and you pay that extra $50 a year, one of the benefits is that you're searchable here in the directory, specifically as a YPN Elite. Now, why would you be searching for a member? Well, let's say that I'm driving around and I see a for sale sign and I say, okay, it's Geraldine's for sale sign. I don't know Geraldine, and I didn't catch her phone number because I drove by too fast. I get back to the office. I look up Geraldine in the member directory. Guess what? Now I see her email address, I see her phone number, and now I can contact her about setting up a showing on that property, right? Or maybe, let's say that I know Geraldine speaks French, right? French? I don't speak French. So what would I do? I'm gonna refer, let me find an agent that speaks French. So under multilingual members, right here, this is where, when I talked about your profile earlier, this comes in handy. If you don't fill out your profile, you don't show up in the results for languages. So if I were looking for members that speak French, they're alphabetical here. I would just find French. And here we go. And then under Realtor, I click search. I'm going to find all members in our 43,000 members at BeachesMLS that speak French. Now, this may take a second to load. But that's a referral source opportunity. So obviously, you would prefer to keep it in-house if you can, but let's say that you're looking for languages that don't pop up. I'm not sure why that's giving me the runaround, but that's how you search for languages. You also can search for designations, right? So if I, for example, have an ABR designation, which is the accredited buyer representative, wouldn't I want to, if I had a buyer referral, wouldn't I want to also give it to someone that has some accreditation as me, because I know that they've gone through the training as I have, and they're on par with representing that buyer as well as I could, right? Obviously, I'm better because, I'm me, right? But you refer to somebody that maybe has your same qualifications through a designation, and you could search through designations that same way. If you click on here, you see all the designations here. If you don't know what the acronym stands for, it is written out next to you after that. But again, that's a great opportunity. Search through the member directory either for contact information or referral opportunities. Now you can do the same thing with an affiliate. If I switch my member type to affiliate, and let me remove my languages here, and let's say I'm looking for a lender that speaks Spanish. I can come down here, switch my language to Spanish. Under field of business, I can come here and change it to, and you'll notice here we have all different types of affiliate vendors. I can switch it to mortgage and lending and hit search, and it's going to find me all of our affiliates that can represent your Spanish client. So we have all of them, they're here throughout different locations. So you just click on one, for example, and you're going to find this guy here, Rich Lopez. He's with Choice Mortgage Group. Here's his contact information. He is fluent in Spanish, and I can go ahead and connect my customer to that lender, right? So if you feel like, oh, I use a vendor, but they're very limited as far as languages, guess what? You have lots of opportunities to find your customer other vendors. Pretty cool, right? All right. The last thing in this section is our first product. It's called PhotoFi. And what PhotoFi is, it's a brandable mobile app. So first thing you would do is there's instructions here when you click on PhotoFi, how to download the app. Because the first thing you're going to want to do is, this is from NAR. This is a free member benefit through your National Association of Realtors. First thing you're going to do to get this app is you're going to go to photofi.com/NAR. You are going to enter your NRDS number to register. Does everybody know their NRDS number? Nope. Well, guess where you can find your NRDS number? In your profile. Very good. Now, your NRDS number is going to be different than your real estate license number. Keep in mind, your NRDS number is your identifying number as a member of the National Association of Realtors. It's almost like your real estate social security number, right? Now, your Florida license number is how you get paid through your license in the state of Florida. But outside of Florida, your license number means nothing, right? So that's what most of you will memorize your license number because that's how you get paid and that's what you fill out in forms, right? Your NRDS number, I would keep that record of that also because that's what Florida Realtors uses and that's what NAR uses for a lot of their login usernames. But again, if you can't find that, you don't know it, I'm sure Paulina's not tracking that. So go ahead and go into your profile. You'll see that there. Or if you can't figure it out, contact our membership department. We can give you that information. Now, once that's set up, simply go to wherever you get your apps on your phone. It's available on Apple and Google devices and download Photify. Now, what's cool about Photify is they have different templates for different marketing campaigns. So how many of you guys don't know the difference between an Instagram reel and an Instagram story or a tweet versus a post, right? If you're not someone that's social media savvy, then no worries. This will make you look like you are because all you do is you pick the template, your contact info is already there and it plugs in your photo, plugs in your contact information, and it looks like you designed a flyer, you designed a post or a video. All of that is pre-made and all you have to do is set up a couple buttons and you're good to go. What I also like about it is that it allows you to connect your social media accounts to your Photify account so you can schedule posts. So let's see, I can schedule 3 different things. I can create them on a Monday and say, I want you to post this on my Facebook on Tuesday, post this one on my Instagram on Wednesday, and post this one to LinkedIn on Thursday. I don't have to do anything. It's already going. It's autopilot, right? So if you download that, there's also a video here that shows you how to navigate Photify. There's also different templates. So there's templates from your local level. How many of you guys every month get that market snapshot email from us and tells you all the different snapshots for the different counties? Well, guess what? That snapshot is a template and it could be branded. So if you want to use that branded template, give that during your next presentation, bring it with you at open houses and hand them out. Or if you go to trade shows, it's brandable opportunities. There's also templates from Florida Realtors, templates from NAR, and there's also international templates that are available in French, Portuguese, Japanese, and Spanish and Romanian. So really cool ways for you to automate a lot of your social media activity. And if you're not a graphic designer, this is going to save you a lot of time and energy. And it looks really good. And it makes you look like a really proficient agent. So again, it's called Photify. God bless you. Totally free product. Go ahead and start registering and downloading it today. All right. Skipping on up to the MLS resources section at the top of the page. Now, this is probably where you spend most of your time when you're on your dashboard. The upper left corner, you'll notice that this is where you access your MLS. So your matrix, you guys are matrix users, you will see this icon here, this CoreLogic matrix. Click on that, it goes right into the MLS. I'm going to be skipping over some of the flex stuff. So if I skip a tile, don't worry, it just means that's not related to matrix. Next over, we have IMAP. So IMAP is where you can use it for prospecting and find all public record information. It ties into not just the MLS, it integrates into the tax roll, it integrates into the judicial system. So you can look up MLS related things. If you're prospecting canceled and expired listings, you can look up houses and property owners that are in pre-foreclosure. You also can look up addresses and contact information for entire buildings when you're prospecting. So it's really cool to pull prospecting lists. We teach IMAP all the time. There's IMAP videos in the webinar library. So if you ever want to bone up on your IMAP knowledge, go ahead and take the class or go ahead and watch that video. Underneath that, you're going to see Realist. So Realist goes along with Matrix, and Realist is another public record resource. So you can go into Realist and you can run reports. You can do city reports. You can do demographic reports. You're able to, I think, even search comps in Realist as well, and just other public information. To the right of that, if you have super services, you will see this super tile on your dashboard. Now, what that allows you to do, it allows you to go in there if you ever want to change your PIN number for your e-key. You can change that here within your app here. You also can set up, if you want to set additional codes, like CBD codes or CBS codes, I must say CBD, CBS codes on your lockboxes. You can do that. If you have lockboxes, guess what? You can also attach a lockbox directly to a listing with your listing number. It'll track the activity and you can print out that report and send it to your seller. So you can customize those. There's also safety features on your on your e-key. Did you know you can actually hold a button down and you hold it for 3 seconds, and if you set it up ahead of time in your Supra desktop icon, you set up 3 people that can receive alerts and location on where you are. If you hold down that button, if you're at a showing and you're in distress, hold down your e-key button and it will alert those 3 people of where you are, give you your location, and have a pre-made message that you can send for 3 people. So pretty cool. To the right of that, you have Transaction Desk. So Transaction Desk is a transaction management system. It allows you to access all of your current contracts and addendum. It allows you to do unlimited e-sign, unlimited e-fax, and e-storage, all included, no additional subscriptions or add-ons or upgrades. To the lower than that is AuthentiSign. So AuthentiSign is a program that allows you to do e-sign. It actually works together with Transaction Desk. Now, what I like is that it's actually separated because unlike other programs, if you ever use things like Dotloop, Form Simplicity, etc., in order to do the e-sign portion, you have to create a transaction, which sometimes you may not need a transaction because you're just getting one thing signed, whether it's your kid's permission slip or maybe it's an association disclosure form or a membership form, etc. So all you do is go to AuthentiSign, upload a PDF, and you can make little signing locations and then go ahead and have your things e-signed, unlimited e-sign capabilities. To the right of that, you're going to see RPR. RPR is a product from NAR, stands for Realtor Property Resource. It allows you to find public record information for nationwide. It also has comparables. You can also run reports. In RPR, I like that they have a thing called a city report. So say, for example, you have a buyer moving here from California and they say, Michael, I don't know if I want to live in Pompano, Delray, maybe Hollywood. They've heard of different cities, but I don't know those cities apart. Like, I don't know. And maybe you say, well, I know where that city is, but I couldn't tell you certain things about that city, like demographic information, price points, etc. That's going to show you in that report. It'll say, these are the demographics of Delray Beach, or these are the demographics of Hollywood. This is the average price per square foot, the average home price on the Harvard home sale in Hollywood. It's really good information for your customers, but also for you. Let's say that you're trying to expand your farm area. Well, what you can do is run a city report in RPR and learn about that city and see if that city really is something you want to invest your time and your money to farm. It's going to give you a lot of information. The only thing it's not going to give you, by the way, is crime rates, right? Because that would be something that would go against fair housing. So if you want something, if someone asks you for crime rates, defer them to a local police station, right? That they give that to you.
I think they can Google that.
They can Google that, but they're gonna have to get that from a different source. They're not gonna get it from
here.
And as you guys, as realtors, I'm sure Pauline tells all the time, be the source of information. Don't tell the customer, here's the crime rates for Pembroke Pines. Because if that's incorrect or they challenge that, guess what? You become the source and you are acting outside your licensure. Right. So be the source of the source. But RPR is great. RPR also has a mobile app. So if you want to download the app on your phone, you're gonna have to create the login when you access your desktop version. But then once you create your login, it's going to be accessible on the phone. All right. Next up, we have Marketplace. So under Marketplace, this is pretty cool because these are all the available opportunities to increase your marketing exposure. So you probably have a lot of these things available through Century 21. But you'll notice there's closing management programs, there's CMA programs, commercial, IDX, rental services, and social media assistance. These are all pay to play. So you actually have to pay for these services. But if you require any of these things, you can find them. So the whole point of this is to empower you to tailor your MLS experience by adding in technologies that can help you with these different services. All right, beneath that, we have eProperty Watch. Under eProperty Watch, this is allowing you to every month send a branded email newsletter to your clients. You have 25 people at a time can be on a mailing list, and it's going to send you valuation on a specific property. So the way you would use this is, so let's say, for example, that you're working with someone that they say, Michael, I want to sell my home, but I want to wait maybe 6 months. A good agent will say, good, well, let me put you on my campaign and we'll stay in touch. And you put them in your CRM and you contact them every 6 months, right? You don't wait till month 6 because if by then they probably forgot about you, or maybe they're already working with a new agent, right? Well, eProperty Watch contacts them every month, gives them a newsletter that's branded with your information, but it gives them the value of their home. It tells them these are the factors affecting your home value. And it's a good opportunity that if there are factors that are negatively affecting the value, it tells them that. And you can say, and hopefully that'll help them pull the trigger faster to list their home. Now, what I would encourage you to do, go in there, put your own house or a condo there, put your home address there, see what it sends you every month on your valuation. But the beauty of that is it drips on them every month. It gives them valuable information on their specific property, and it's branded to you. That way you stay top of mind with your customers. All right, moving right along, we have property panorama. The reason I have two of them here, you only have one, is because I have access to Matrix and Flex, so I have two of the same icon. Basically, what property panorama does, it takes the first 15 photos of your listing, puts them on a carousel, and then puts some music to it. Okay, very simple. So if you're wondering, why do I already have a virtual tour on my listing if I didn't put one in there? It automatically happens every time you put a listing in the MLS. Property panorama will create one for you. In the future, if you ever want to put a more sophisticated virtual tour, you have your own, you can swap out the link in your listing when you edit it. But keep in mind, it takes the first 15 photos. So you always want to make sure the first 15 photos of your listing are the best photos that you have of your listing, because that's what's going to be displayed in your virtual tour. All right, underneath that, we have My Condo Plans. So My Condo Plans is pretty cool because throughout South Florida, we have many different condo buildings. Now, not every condo building will be here in My Condo Plans, but many of them are. And what I like about this is because it integrates into your MLS, it will give you the activity in those specific buildings. So for example, there's a building, if you do a quick search, or there's drop-down options here. There's a building, let's say there's a building, Nola Lofts in Fort Lauderdale. I can put Nola Lofts, and notice how it starts to recognize the building. I can click on that. It shows me the building, gives me the address. It shows me the number of units as well as the current activity on the MLS. It also gives me the average time to close, which is your days on market. It also shows the recent sales. So if you are farming, this is a great tool to farm specific buildings in certain neighborhoods or certain communities. Now, again, not every condo building is here, so you may do a search and not find the building you're looking for, but a lot of them are. So take that with a grain of salt. You'll also see some graphics here that you can use and download as a PDF. What I also like is once you choose a unit number, it gives you access to floor plans that you can download. So if you're doing pricing, you can look at a floor plan and see if that unit has the same floor plan as the units below. That way you can price them accordingly. You can actually, if you're doing prospecting or going to a listing appointment without actually seeing that unit, I can take a look at the map here. Notice how this unit here, which is in the 4 line on the 4th floor, I can see that this unit faces north. All right, so it gives me a little heads up, so you can see, oh, what does it face? The ocean? Does it face west? Does it face north, etc.? So you can see those in My Condo Plans. All right, to the right of that, you're going to see market stats. So market stats is cool because it can give you city stats. As agents, I highly encourage you, when you're in your farm area, be very familiar with the stats of your farm area. Stats being, know what the inventory is, know what the average price per square foot is, know what your absorption rate is, those kind of things. So you'll notice here we can search through our whole footprint area. Now our footprint area, by the way, in BeachesMLS, we have the majority of listings in Broward, Palm Beach, Martin County, St. Lucie County, but we do data share with Miami-Dade and parts of Indian River. Now, since we do data share, that means you as the agent can look for listings all throughout South Florida. However, we can only pull stats for the listings that we own. So that's where you're limited on this specific thing. That's why you don't see Miami-Dade here. However, I will show you under Florida Realtors where you can find stats from every county in the state of Florida. All right, so let's say, for example, Broward County. Let's take a look at Pembroke Pines. If I click on Pembroke Pines, you can do it here on the map, or you can do it from the drop downs in the left corner. And you also can go back time period. So it goes back all the way to 2018. So if you're looking to do historical forecasting, you can go back and look at some of these stats as they progress throughout the year. Maybe you can identify certain trends. You say, okay, this time of the year, I noticed that this goes up, that goes down, and you can actually predict somewhat some of these different market fluctuations, right? So let's take a look for December 2023. Let's see Pembroke Pines. And by the way, these stats are released on the 3rd week of each month. So right now we are still looking at December, around February, the third week, we'll have the January numbers released, and that's how you'll start to see these. But notice how with one click of the mouse, I had this nice report all about Pembroke Pines. So if you want to know about Pembroke Pines, it gives you key metrics on single-family homes and townhomes, all residential, by the way. I can print this out. I can include this in a presentation. I can download it as a screenshot. I can share it on social media. I can put it on a postcard. I can put it on my social media. I can do videos on it, etc. But yeah, exactly. Any marketing you want to do with this. But the best thing is you can learn how to speak statistically. Oftentimes, especially newer realtors, you may run into them and say, hey, Michael, how's the market? And they'll go, it's good. Good is not quantifiable. What makes you look like a great agent is if you say, well, how's the market? Well, the single family home market is kind of going well. There's more inventory, and this is the average closed sale in Pembroke Pines is up 40% from last December, right? But the inventory, let's see, inventory here is down 28.6%. So these are different numerical talking points you can use that'll help you sound really knowledgeable about your farm area. But again, saying things like, oh, it's good or it's bad, like those are not really giving you credit as a real estate professional. When you can say, well, the market's up about 30%, I noticed that the price per square foot is down 10%, that really tells consumers, hey, Michael knows what he's talking about. He knows his stuff. So you can study these and then use these to your advantage. All right, moving on. We have Remind Pro. So Remind Pro is another prospecting database. And Remind actually stands for Real Estate Data Mining. It's similar to IMAP, but compared to IMAP, Remind is it's like varsity level versus JV level. IMAP is limited on some of the different types of data you can search for. For example, in both products, you can search for absentee owners. You can search for people that don't have homestead exemption. However, in Remind Pro, you can search for equity amount. You can say people that have a certain amount of equity. You can search for people that have a certain interest rate on their mortgage. All these different prospecting opportunities to find ways to communicate. Now, the beauty of Remind Pro is if you were to purchase it independently to get all the bells and whistles to you, it would probably be around $1,200 a year with subscriptions and upgrades. As a BeachesMLS member, you get the whole thing for free. It's all built in. So take advantage of that. I would say when you are targeting your markets and your prospecting, have a purpose. Know what you're trying to say and know who you're trying to say it to. Because if you're just blanketing a whole neighborhood with a postcard on rates or rent versus own, if it doesn't apply to those people, they throw it away. And they start to say, when I see Michael's information come to my mailbox, I know that nothing he sends me is pertaining to me. I start throwing your mailers away and you're paying for those mailers. So save your money, be direct with your targeting, be very, very specific on who your audience is, and you can use Remind Pro to achieve that. All right, next up, we have two products here that I'm going to kind of lump together. It's New Home Source Professional and Builder's Update. Both of these products will give you access to find new development and new construction all throughout Florida. As you guys can imagine, new construction is hard to find in the MLS. Why is that? Well, most developers, they have a sales office, they have a sales team, they do everything on their own. They don't need the MLS, right? They like realtors, but they don't need the MLS because they do it all in-house. So how do you find them? Well, before these type of programs, what you would do is drive around and say, oh, there's a sales office for a new developer. I'm going to go in there and talk to the sales rep and get their information so I know how to direct my customers. Well, now you are able to search throughout the whole state of Florida, and you can find developers. The good thing about these programs is the developers in these programs have guaranteed that they will compensate realtors. Now, the percentages may vary, but they are guaranteeing that they will work with you and they will pay you. Now, there are some developers there that will also allow you to register your buyer directly through the program. You don't have to go to the sales office. You register your buyer through them. It could be good for 30, 60, 90 days and protect your commission. You're also able to connect these programs to your website. So that way it's almost like an IDX feed. That way your customers can search for these projects as well, and it's branded to you. Pretty cool, right? Now, the reason we have two products is because there are certain developers that are exclusive to one versus the other. So we gave you two of them to make sure that you have the full gamut of new construction. So I would encourage you, look through there because you'll be surprised at how much inventory, you think inventory is low, but guess what? They're building everywhere. I mean, that's why I was late today, is because there's a lot of construction coming down over there for new developments. They're actually laying cement on one of the developments off Sheridan. And that's why I was a little late today. But I digress. Take a look through there, start sharing those new developments. They have access to the floor plans, they'll have access to renderings that you can use, and they're all different types of new construction. There are things that are ready to go now, there are things that are coming soon. So depending on what your clients are looking for, you can accommodate that. All right, moving right along, we have Rate My Agent. Now, Rate My Agent is a free testimonial software that you can use to send testimonial requests to your clients. So I don't know about you guys, but before I go to a restaurant, before I watch a movie, before I buy something on Amazon, I read the reviews. People are like that with realtors as well. They research you, they go to your Facebook, they go to your website, and they look for reviews before they even give you a call. So people know more about you before you even hear from them. So it's really important that if you're not doing this, you start getting reviews on your transactions and posting them and promoting them. Rate My Agent is free. All you do is click on there and you claim your free profile, you put in your information, and you can start sending requests to your customers right away.
It says a 14-day trial. After that, you have to pay for it, or?
You're with Beaches, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You should be able to request your free profile. It shouldn't be going through the trial. There is a trial, but then the trial will actually go ahead and bill you. Does it give you an opportunity to claim your free profile? It should somewhere on there.
3-day trial.
Yeah, I'll look through that site with you afterwards and we'll see, but it should be able to say you're a BeachesMLS member, claim your profile and give you a free version without the trial version. Next to that, we have a product called List Track. Well, what's cool about List Track is it takes your active listings and it shows you where your listings are being displayed. So it shows you your performance and where you're syndicated to. It can also track how many times your listing has been favorited, how it's been shared, and how it's performing compared to other listings in that area. So when your seller says, we're getting a lot of showings and why are we not selling? Well, it could be a price issue, but more likely it could be other things. For example, it could be that, you didn't take professional photos and the other listings around you have professional photos, or maybe, whatever the case may be, it gives you analytics. But what I like about it is the exposure. So that, when your listing goes into MLS, it automatically goes to Realtor.com, to Zillow, all the major portals. But if you print out your performance report in List Track, it'll show you every website that your listing is being displayed on, which you can then go to your seller or a potential listing appointment and say, this is where I can display your property. And it gives you analytics on their performance as well. Again, all for only your active listings and your personal active listings. Now, Paulina can run a List Track report for any of the listings in the office, but you guys will only see the listings that you have under you. All right, next up we have Home Visit. So Home Visit is actually a marketing account where you can set up your account. Now, this is where you're able to confirm orders and appointments. You can send electronic invoices, deliver photos. This is all for marketing and it's pay to play. So basically what you would do is go ahead and go in there and set that up. You can showcase your property in the best light by doing these different marketing techniques. You may already be doing some of those through your other marketing channels, but this is just another option that you can compare. And the pricing may be better, maybe not as good, but if it's convenient, then you might want to choose that different service. But keep in mind, those different things are paid to play. Next up, we have Cloud CMA. Now that is a subscription-based service. Basically what it does is you run your comps, you go into Cloud CMA, there's different reporting options, different reporting graphics, ways to make your CMA pretty and more sophisticated. But as BeachesMLS subscribers, you guys get a 60% discount on that subscription. Now, Cloud CMA isn't one of those products that actually integrates into other things. I know that Cloud CMA works with transaction desk. It works with some CRM products. So take a look at that. Again, just know that you have a major discount as one of our members. And lastly, under One Home. One Home is the portal that your customers see when you send them properties. Right now, this is the agent version. So you can go in the agent back end and take a look at all the different people that you have under your One Home. So again, when I set a customer up on an auto email alert, they automatically get created a One Home portal that they can log into. They can create a password. They can go in and search for properties and then see and get feedback on the properties that I send them. Now, why would it benefit you? Anybody have a guess why it would benefit you to have them search for properties in One Home versus Realtor.com?
Directly through your.
Say one time.
It's directly to your account.
Correct. So it is branded to you, which means, for example, if I'm a buyer and you're working with me, if I go to Realtor.com, I can see the listing agent and their phone number and email address. If I go to Zillow, I will see whoever is paid to be the primary agent on that listing. I'm not going to see your information. Or if I'm working with you and I see the listing agent information, there's a high potential that I may ghost you and start working directly with the listing agent. The portal is great because it has you branded. It doesn't make it look like that it's your listing. It encourages them to say, you have questions on this property, contact your buyer's agent. So it forces them to keep communicating with you. It also gives them direct MLS information. So the way syndication works and syndication is when you put a listing in Matrix, it goes to Realtor.com, it goes to Zillow. Zillow and Realtor.com each update that information at different intervals. It could be 30 minutes, it could be 45 minutes, it could be 2 hours. That's why sometimes when your customer sends you properties and you go to look them up, it may say one status in Zillow and one status in the MLS because it hasn't updated and refreshed. Now, when you send the one home portal, they see that information directly from the MLS, which updates every 5 minutes. So it's more accurate, it's more reliable. So that's how you can sell them to look in their portal. Also in their portal, you're able to see what they like, what they save, and what they're searching for. How many times, wouldn't you love to see if you're sending husband and wife buyer, you're sending them properties, say like single family homes in Parkland. Meanwhile, if you look at their searches, they're looking at condos in Dania. Like those are two different property types, two different set of information. So it will help you to hone in on what you're doing and kind of work together on that. Again, that's called one home. That automatically gets created when you send auto emails. And this is how you can manage to see who is on your one home list. Any questions in the MLS resources section? All right. Skipping up to the MLS quick links. First off, I'm going to come over here to MLS forms. So MLS forms at the top, this is where you'll find things like area MLS maps. You'll also see listing change forms, listing release forms. You'll see Matrix terminology guides. If you're wondering, what does that field in Matrix mean? What does that term mean? There's a whole guidebook with different verbiage that you can learn what different MLS terms mean. There are also input forms. They're based off property type. For example, you have an input form for single family, one for condo. Why is that important? Well, I would encourage you to take that input form, bring it to you on your listing appointment, because it's going to give you boxes where you can check off or write in things, and it mirrors the fields in your MLS. That way, when you go to input your listing, you already have that information. It asks you what the flooring is, what the roof looks like, things that you may forget after your listing appointment, and you don't want to have to call the seller again and say, hey, do you have carpet in the bedrooms? I don't remember. That just doesn't look professional, right? So you bring the listing input form with you. It mirrors all the fields. That way you can fill them in as you go. And that will also make your listing input faster when you go to put your listing into the MLS. Now they're working on a way to make that digital where you can go ahead and do that and scan a QR code and it automatically goes into the MLS for you. But that technology is still being worked out, but keep in mind, that's on the horizon. All right, so that's your MLS forms. Then there's MLS compliance. Under MLS compliance, I would encourage you to go here sometime in the near future if you haven't been here recently. It tells you how to file a complaint with our compliance department. It'll tell you the top listing and conduct violations, but more importantly, it gives you information about MLS rules and regulations so you can stay in the know on what you're required to do in the MLS. It also has IDX rules, MLS bylaws, and for those of you that one day when you get an assistant, there's even a guide here that tells you what your assistant can and cannot do if they don't hold a real estate license. So for example, assistants cannot show property. They cannot sit on open houses. They cannot present offers. They can fill out contracts. They can do searches. They can do CMAs. Those are not license requirements. However, some of those things like presenting offers, those will have to be done by a licensee. So it's important to know that way you don't get in trouble with FREC when you get an assistant. All right. We have different partnerships with different buyer portals. So you'll see here we have a tile for HomeSpotter. We have tiles for Realtor.com and Homes.com. Those are all different outlets where you can set up a profile and just have access to that profile directly through your dashboard. And you never know what buyers are using to find their information. So the more places you can be where a buyer could be, the better you are going to be at working with your customers. Moving back up here, I'm going to combine these two products here. We have TransUnion and we also have Rent Spree. These are both tenant screening software. You guys probably have something through Century 21 that you use, so go ahead and use that. But just know that we have that available here as well. Rent Spree actually can integrate into the MLS. So if you're a rental listing, you can attach an application there, a credit background history report, etc., directly into a
A
rental
lot of
listing.
agents are using that rent screen now.
Yeah, it's very popular. I mean, it's very efficient. I mean, if you could have your background check tied to and also attach your association membership application, put all of that into your listing where you don't have to worry about people asking you for follow-up questions. It's all there for the other agent. I mean, that makes your life a lot easier. All right, skipping over to Real Satisfied. Real Satisfied is similar to Rate My Agent in the sense that it's a testimonial software. The difference here is there is a charge for Real Satisfied. You get like 3 free testimonials, then it asks you to subscribe. The reason that you have to pay for it is that it has higher integrations into CRMs and other high-level products that can automate that testimonial process. So that's why they charge you for that. All right, skipping on down to the bottom here. We have a certified photographers program. So what that is, and we were the ones that pioneered this, and a lot of other associations have kind of mimicked that, which is very complementary to BeachesMLS. We have affiliate photographers, and what they do is they sign a hold harmless, meaning that they give permission to MLS participants to use their photos that they use from a photographer in perpetuity, which means that if I'm a photographer and you hire me and I'm with BeachesMLS, you as the agent that purchased those photos can use those photos forever and share them with whoever you want. That is oftentimes when you work with a photographer, that's a negotiable point where you may have a limited usage of that photos. Maybe you can't use those same photos of the pool for other units you may list in that building, right? You have to get permission for that. So they are giving that permission to you as a BeachesMLS member to use those photos for however you want, and you can advertise them any way you want. It doesn't mean that you can still take other photos from other agents. That's still intellectual property theft, but this is going to help minimize the chance that you could get sued by a photographer. Now they know our MLS rules for photos, so they're not going to take photos that are going to get you in trouble. And they also, these photographers have access to upload them to your MLS if you give them access to your listing, which makes uploading photos a lot easier for you. If you are in need of a photographer, take a look through all these different photographers. If you use a photographer that's really good and they're not part of this program, you also can suggest it to them and they can go ahead and be a part of our real estate family. But the whole idea we're launching this is we want it to be the person in between you and the photographer in case that photographer tries to sue you, right? All right. Next up, we have Rate Plug. So Rate Plug is pretty cool because we talked about the one home portal. Rate Plug allows you, if you work with a preferred lender, you can actually have them tie into Rate Plug and they can display their rates within your one home portal. So imagine if you work with a lender all the time and now you're sending properties to buyers, they can see rates and get quotes through your preferred lender directly from their portal. So it keeps all of your team visible and in the same situations. That way you can still suggest, hey, go use other lenders if you want, but I'm showing you one that I prefer. That way you're not steering them into a particular vendor, but it's a great opportunity. There's no cost to you to use Rate Plug. However, just so you know, there's a cost to the lender to be a part of Rate Plug. Okay. All right. Next over, we have Riz Media. So Riz Media is a very well-renowned national resource for information on real estate. Now, you may have heard of other sources or platforms called like The Real Deal, or you've heard of Inman. The way we used to give Inman and The Real Deal, we used to be partners with them years ago. And then those sources kind of became kind of like the tabloids of real estate, where they're just talking about the drama and who's fighting with who and who's getting, it's National Enquirer of Real Estate. And we felt that that wasn't really valuable to you as members, right? It gets headlines. You want to see that this person got sued or this person lost this top producer. That's all great for like entertainment value, but it doesn't really benefit your business directly. So we partner with Riz Media and you get a free access to Riz Media. And you'll notice that there's all types of articles here that you can share on your social media. It's there to keep you educated and to share with your clients. But they have categories here like articles towards individual agents, articles for brokers, articles for teams, articles about real estate marketing, articles about coaching, upcoming technology, etc. So I would encourage you, go through there, read articles, share them on your social medias. It's great for building content on your business pages, and then educate yourself at the same time. So again, you have free access to that as a BeachesMLS subscriber. All right, down below, you see an icon for MLS Touch. Now, MLS Touch is a mobile extension of your Matrix platform. It allows you to do all the functions of your Matrix MLS on your desktop on the go from your phone. Now, it is not a platform on your the icon there just gives you information about the product. You're actually going to download that product through the App Store. And then you log into that using the same credentials as you log into the Dash, and then you're able to operate remotely. What I like about it is it integrates into Matrix, which means anything you put into Matrix shows up in the app and vice versa. So you don't have to go in and put your contacts in again. You don't have to put save searches again. Everything talks to one another. It also connects to One Home. So MLS Touch, you can see your portal that you send to your customers. You can see what properties they like. You can see any notes and feedback that are from their One Home portal. So they all talk together. So that way you can keep all your information within the same ecosystem. If you're using other properties or other mobile technology that doesn't integrate into the MLS, you're often having to put in your client's information again twice or saving another search again, which can be a little tedious. And we are actually the exclusive carriers of that. So other associations in South Florida don't have access to MLS Touch. We're the only association in South Florida. I think the next association that has it is the Orlando Association up in Central Florida. All right, moving on, we have Elevate. So Elevate is another marketing platform. Now, this is a pay-to-play. You have to subscribe to some of these services, but if you're looking for a social media manager, like a platform or program, if you have marketing that you want to direct marketing, there's also here for CRM. So again, a lot of this may be already built into your Century 21 products, but it never hurts. If you leave Century 21, guess what? Those products don't come with you. So it's always good to know what your options are, because you don't want to feel like, oh, I have to stay at this office if I don't want to be here, but I'm tied to this program. No, there's other options available to you. So just be aware of that. But again, these products here, you do have to pay for those services. Zomeo. Zomeo is pretty cool because Zomeo is actually a way to tie in a website to your IDX feed, meaning that, what it does is, it's the former Immobel. Do you guys remember Immobel from years ago? Immobel is now Zomeo. What Immobel did with the technology was you tied it to the MLS, and it would translate the MLS into 15 different languages. So what you could use that for is you have your IDX on your personal business website. With Zomeo, it will allow customers to go to your site and transition all those MLS information into different languages. So that really helps with your international buyer opportunities. So if someone that's moving here from, say, the Bahamas, and they speak, or they speak well, they may be one of the, that's a bad example. Let's say you're finding someone, let's say from Italy. They can search the MLS and search in Italian. Let's say you're having someone that's from a French-speaking country, whether it's Canada, France, or in the islands. They can search the MLS and look at information in French. It'll translate the remarks, all the fields into French. And then that will help. So again, think about your customers. You don't want to be all in English, because sometimes you will have customers that aren't fluent in English. They could switch that MLS information up to 15 different languages. All right. And last up here, there is a new launch that we talked about last year, the end of last year, called Nestfully. So Nestfully is similar to buyer portals like Realtor.com and Zillow, but the benefit of Nestfully is that it directly takes leads and gives it back to the listing agent, right? Now, brokers can opt to create some sort of listing lead generation opportunity in their office where there's like first come, first serve or round robin situation, but it's designed that the listing agent will always be displayed on the listing. And it doesn't charge for a placement. Everybody goes to the listing agent. Now, there's also an opportunity on Nestfully where it says, are you currently working for an agent, with an agent? That way when you get that lead, you know that it's a lead where they may be asking information and you can connect with their realtor and work with them on getting them together, versus having a conversation with them and then realizing, oh, they're working with an agent. I've been here trying to procure them as a customer, right?
This is like a Zillow or.
It is, but the difference is that it's owned by the MLS. So we partnered with the Denver MLS, California MLS, Bright MLS, the Miami Association, and there's one more, I forget what it is, but all of our data goes into Nestfully. And Nestfully is actually run by, it's the CEO is the one that originated Realtor.com. So he knows how it works, he knows the algorithm, and he's creating this to benefit brokers and realtors. That way, you're not paying for leads on your own listings, right? Like Zillow was, they were the wizards that said, hey, you have a listing, I'm gonna display your listing, but then I'm gonna make you pay me to get people to call you on your own property. Like, that's crazy, right?
And no, they don't even call you on your own property, you got somebody else.
Correct. But Nestle will make sure you are always getting the leads from your listing directly.
So this is something that you can connect to your website or?
Yes, you can actually get a link, but it's not really so much searching from the website because you have your IDX feed. So your customers can search for listings directly from your
Right.
website already. But the benefit really is it's going to be another consumer portal, and they're marketing it as consumer portal to compete with the other things. And it's live MLS data. So it's not a syndicated feed. And remember, we talked syndication, where Zillow may be hours behind, Realtor.com may be hours behind. And again, those platforms don't really benefit you unless you buy into their program.
Right.
Nestfully will always be driven towards you. It wants to give consumers accurate data, but also wants to give realtors the data they deserve, the leads and the recognition for their listings, right? So again, the more MLSs that contribute, the better this will grow. But we just started this program. But the benefit is you're going to see all the listings in South Florida for Miami-Dade County up through Port St. Lucie. And you're also going to start to see listings in Denver, California, the Northeast, which is like Virginia, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Maine, that whole region there. They're also coming out with a mobile app soon and a CRM option as well. So those are developing. But again, that's an idea of how your MLSs are trying to save your data. Data is currency, right? And for years, your data has not made you any money, right? So we're really trying to reposition that by putting out programs and campaigns that takes what's already there for you and making you the one that benefits from monetizing that, not these other portals and vendors, right? Pretty cool. All right. So let's all skip down now. Those are all your local benefits through BeachesMLS. Now we're going to go into your Florida benefits. So you'll see here, Florida resources and quick links. These are all from Florida Realtors. So the first one is here. This is just a direct link to the Florida Realtors website. So click on Florida Realtors here. It'll bring you to the website. Form Simplicity. That is the transaction management product offered to Florida Realtors members. Now you can use it to manage your transactions for free. However, to e-sign, you have to upgrade to the ultimate edition, which is $72 every year, right? That's why Transaction Desk is great, because we offer you transaction management for free. Everything else includes the same functions as Form Simplicity, but we save you $72 a year, right? For the e-sign portion. MLS Advantage. This is your statewide MLS. So this is pretty cool because all that, I shouldn't say all, most of the MLSs in Florida will provide their data to MLS Advantage. I think the only ones that are out there is the Florida Keys and some smaller Central Florida boards. For the most part, say for example, right now, if you didn't know about MLS Advantage, if I sold your house and now you're moving to say Tampa, most agents will say, hey, I know an agent in Tampa, I'll refer you and you get a referral commission, right? Well, how would you like to represent that buyer by saying, hey, I can find you a listing in Tampa through MLS Advantage, and now I can represent you as your buyer agent. Now you get a full buyer commission versus a referral, right? Now, if you're willing to go to Tampa for showings, that's up to you. But the idea there is you can search MLS Advantage just like you search in Matrix. The interface is different. It may be limited on some of the criteria. It's not as robust as Matrix, but it's a good opportunity for you to take one of your clients leaving South Florida, and instead of referring them, you represent them. Now, that's only when you're on the buyer or tenant side. Now, if you are on the listing side, if you want to list property in other parts of Florida, Paulina has to be a member of that board for you to join. Okay, so you have to have broker. The way membership works is agents can only belong to where their broker has presence, right? That's an NAR stipulation. So if she's a member of, say, Central Florida and Aura, then you could join as a secondary and have access to their to list property through them as well. All right, but you don't have to join them to get their listing data because now you have that through MLS.
But if you want to, you do have to join them.
Correct, you have to be a member there. Now, if it's a one-time situation, like we do one-time listings, it's $250. You take a one-time listing, you give us the information, we put it in the MLS, and once that's closed, that's it. So you can't keep listing.
Right.
But say, for example, that your mom is moving to Jacksonville. You're only planning, or she's moving from Jacksonville to here. You're only planning to do that one transaction in Jacksonville, pay the association for a one-time listing, and then that's it. But again, not everybody offers that, but use MLS Advantage next time someone's moving out of South Florida. See if you can get a full commission versus a referral commission. Also here you have your Florida Tech Helpline. So the Tech Helpline can help you with anything IT related, technology, hardware or software. You have problems with your phone, maybe your computer is malfunctioning, or you want to purchase a program, you're not sure how to connect it to different products or services. Contact them. They're available 7 days a week. Clicking on here, you get their phone number. They're available 7 days a week, and they are available to help you. I remember when we first went to lockdown during COVID, I had to turn my second bedroom into a home office. And I'm very tech savvy, but there were times when automated system, the printer and the wireless, this and that and the other, like it wouldn't talk well to each other because my settings were all messed up. So I call them, they're able to go into your computer, bless you. They're able to go into your computer, modify whatever settings you need, and then get you up and running. They're like the Geek Squad from Best Buy, but for Florida realtors, all right? You also have access to the Florida Legal Hotline. Now, these are a panel of attorneys that sit there and take calls from 9 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. Monday through Friday. I encourage you to have that number in your phone. Now, you do need to give them your license number or your NRDS number in order to gain access to the panel. So you can't, share this number with your customers. It's only for real estate licensees. However, if you want to ask them questions, real estate questions that are lawful, you can. Now, I always joke, don't call them and say, how do I get out of a speeding ticket? Can you represent me in court to get me less child support or get me divorced? They won't help you with those legal problems. But if you have questions on contracts, questions on procuring cause, fair housing, Section 8. Paulina is very knowledgeable. Paulina is not an attorney, so she can't act outside of her license and give you legal advice, even though she may know the answer from experience. It's always good to know an attorney and get their legal professional opinion. So you have that number available. If you call the association, we don't have an attorney to answer legal questions for 43,000 members, so we will defer you to the legal hotline. But it's great. Instead of having to pay a retainer to ask an attorney a question, call the panel, they will give you their legal advice on your situation. All right, moving on. We have the Florida Market Report. So this is where I told you can pull stat reports for the entire state of Florida. What I love about it is that you can pull these by region, by county, or by specific city, or by zip code. So you can come through here and you can pull these reports and print them out. And you can use these reports in your marketing, use them for your presentations, or just use them for your own personal market knowledge. Remember, market knowledge, your stat report, and the knowledge you have about different things happening in activity-wise in your region or your farm area makes you valuable. Remember, data is currency. So the more you know, the better you can speak about, real estate and give your professional opinion. Below that, you see a icon here for DBPR. That simply brings you to the DBPR website where you can look up your license or other licensees. You can see your CE credits and what you need to satisfy your license requirements. Just know there's also a DBPR app that you can download on your phone. I would encourage you to always cross-reference people when you are doing deals with them. Cross-reference other agents, cross-reference any license holder, contractors, even your hairdresser. Anybody that has a license with DBPR, you can search by it. The reason I point that out is sometimes you may be doing a deal with an agent and they forget to renew their license. And guess what? Once their license is not renewed, that transaction is pretty much, it's difficult to close on because the license, what the broker would have to do is reassign that transaction to a different agent or take it on themselves. But if you're looking to close on a certain time, that may delay your closing and then your customers will be very upset, right? Also, contractors or any licensed electrician vendors, you can see their license, make sure that they are currently licensed. During hurricane times, a lot of times, all of a sudden roofers come out of the woodwork. Everybody is a roofer. Yeah. Everyone is an AC technician or a bulk pickup, and they are acting illegally. They're not licensed, which means they're probably not insured. So you can cross-reference those licensees in that situation. Sunstats, that is a way for you to take statistics and put them into a nice, pretty graphic. So if you're not someone that can look at numbers and speak on the numbers, put those numbers into Sunstats and it can give you a graph where you can easily display those, use those in your presentations, your CMAs, etc. Lastly, in this section, you guys should be well aware that they just launched a new product called Forewarn. Now, Forewarn's been around for years. I used to use it as an agent like years ago, like a decade ago. Basically, what that is, it's a safety app. It allows you to take numbers that call you or text you for business purposes, and you put them in Forewarn. It will tell you what their property address is. It'll tell you if they have a criminal background history, like all those sort of things to keep you safe. Now, the caveat here is you cannot abuse this. So you can't be looking up your Tinder dates on Forewarn. You can't spy on your neighbors or, you know, your spouse. It ties to your messages. So if you have a text message, I'm not sure about email, but a phone call or a text message, sure you're in there. And if you abuse that, Forewarn will lock you out. You can't use it. So it's not to abuse. Yeah, you can't stalk your ex on there. Like, you can't do any of those things. It is a mobile app. So what you do is basically Forewarn. If you click on there, it's going to give you information on how to get your login credentials from Florida Realtors. And then you can log into the app directly. But keep in mind, the whole idea there is that when you get these calls from people that say, hey, I see your listing on Zillow, I want to rent it. You take that number, you put it in Forewarn, you'll know who you're allegedly meeting with. And this is designed to help keep you safe and give you more confidence in meeting people you don't know out in the field. All right. Under industry news, just two things we talked about already. Premiere with Riz Media, so this is news articles. There's also a newsletter called RE Technology that has all the different real estate technology, either current or futuristic technology, where you can button up on what is available to you guys as agents. Now moving up to National Quick Links. This is your National Association of Realtors benefits, your nationwide benefits. So clicking under NAR on the website. How many of you guys have been here recently? NAR.realtor. If you haven't been here been here lately, what I want to point out to you guys, under the National Association of Realtors website, there is under membership, there is a section called logos and trademark rules. It gives you all the rules and regulations and the parameters for using the realtor mark and using the word realtor in your branding and your marketing. They have whole task forces that go out and send out cease and desist to people that misuse the realtor mark, and they could send you, you know, financial repercussions or fees from using it wrong. Now, you'll also see under directories, you can see directories for all realtor members in the country. So that's referral opportunities where you can actually see directories where you can find realtors all over the place. You can find them by state and local. So let's say, for example, I have a customer moving to Arizona. I can go into Arizona based off of city or based off of an association, and I can find realtors in Arizona, and I can reach out to them and say, hey, I have a customer for you. I'd like to do a referral. And then you get a referral fee for someone outside of Florida. They also have directories for ways you can get referral options in Puerto Rico and other US territories where there are realtors located.
Which one was that?
Under NAR, you go under membership, and at the bottom left, you'll see directories. Under membership at the top, you'll see directories. So if you look at my screen, there's a membership tab here. I'm not muted, am I? Oh, what happened to my? Let's see, where's my casting? Let's see. Paulina, do you know how to cast it? I guess the screen changed. I don't know how to change it back to. Or Bianca, do you know how to cast this to the screen? Somehow it turned off.
The owl turn off? Where's Ivan when you need him?
Right. that been that way for a while, guys? I've been talking with team members for a while. That changed a while ago, or is that recent? Okay.
Ollie, can you call Ivan?
That has nothing to do with that, that has to do with this.
Oh,
Yeah, he went into the browser somehow and he went to cast it to the screen. but
How
I'm
do
not
you
sure.
do screencast?
I don't know, do screencast.
Bien, ¿y tú? Se desconectó de lo que ¿cómo es? El coso, no, hold on, here you go, explain to him, guys.
Hey, Ivan, the casting changed and now I'm looking at YouTube on the screen, but I'm showing the web browser on the computer.
I can tell you guys jokes
Yeah.
while you wait. Jackie can tell you jokes.
Okay.
Where's Liz?
I don't see sharing. I see history, downloads, bookmarks, extensions, print, translate, find and edit, save and share. Save and share. Okay. Cast. Okay. No, it's, I got a cast and it says, it says available, and then it says sources, and I'm selecting screen.
Nidia, tiene que ponerle público en las redes sociales, si no yo no puedo compartir.
Cuando me venía manejando, cuando me dijiste, después lo hice, ya no lo volví.
Ya se puede compartir. I can share.
It says pause. And then it says sync is pause, sign in again, so it says sign in.
No, I think them your information.
Oh,
yeah.
How many people were there?
You do have people. Yeah, I was gonna ask you.
It appears so, yeah. No, it's, okay, it says.
I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I have to.
Yeah, if it's for you, live apps, library, studio, TV.
Bye.
We're having technical difficulties. Technology.
Is it maybe the remote, maybe for the, to the,
I think we should call it.
Well, who's done?
Yeah, yeah. It's more wild.
Yeah, and you just like.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you guys see this?
okay.
Do you know what that is?
Forewarned?
Yeah. Yeah. What is it? What is it? Did you ever pay attention?
It's so that you can get, 3 people and activate them to your, what do you call it?
Look up people's phone numbers or.
And what does it tell you?
Their background.
Yeah, I reopened Chrome, but it still says that it's paused.
I have it written down. Yeah, but you can't stop them, you already told us, we can't check on.
It has to be a business.
Yeah.
Your
Oh,
boyfriend.
it's okay, you know, we only have a few minutes left, Ivan, I'm gonna narrate the last 2 icons to them, because they all have their computers anyway, thank you though. All right, guys, you guys have your computers on, and I think nobody's on Zoom anymore, so.
No.
In your national association, we talked about NAR. Just know that you have directories there, to the right of that, you have an NAR member benefits tab, just click on that, you see all the different benefits and discounts you can get through NAR. There's discounts on rental cars, discounts on printing, shipping, different options that change periodically. And you can go ahead and take advantage of those discounts.
He's still talking, you guys.
To the right of that. To the right of that, you're gonna see the NAR team store. So if you're wondering where you get name badges, you get realtor swag, all the signage, the clothes, etc. Open house sign, things of that nature. You'll be able to get that through the NAR team store. There's also the realtor store, which has NAR related things that are To have,
You guys shut the door, we can hear.
the NR Realtor store is where you can buy books and documents that are related to real estate. So you can order manuals, you can order study guides, you can order those type of things. To the right of that, you're gonna see Realtor insurance. So as independent contractors, you guys pay for your own insurance, right, for you and your family. There are discounted policies that are available through NAR's marketplace where you can get insurance policies for health insurance, vision, car, dental, auto. They have pet insurance, they have cyber insurance, any kind of insurance policy you're allowed to get through NAR marketplace. I would say shop around, you might find better rates than you do through your normal insurance, but that's their attempt to help you as independent contractors get your insurance taken care of. And lastly, there's also the Women's Council of Realtors. For those of you that want to join the Women's Council, they have local chapters as well. Just pro tip, you don't have to be a woman to join Women's Council, they take everybody. All right, guys, so that is essentially the end of that class. I want to thank you guys today for coming. If there's any questions, let me know. But hopefully now you see all of the different tools and opportunities and resources that are part of your dashboard. It's not just the MLS. There's a lot of stuff there that you can use to your benefit. There is a video under Our World Videos that does a recap of the MyRealtorDash tour. We do teach this to the members on the calendar every month. So you can take a look at that. We also teach it in Spanish. So if you want to learn it in Spanish, it's available as well, but stuff's always happening on the dashboard. So as there's new products available, we add them on, we let you know via email. All right. So thank you guys so much for being here today. I know you could have been here for anywhere else in the world for the last hour and a half, 2 hours. But thank you for coming to learn. Thank you, Paulina, for having us.
Thank you.
I apologize for the technical difficulty, but luckily it happened at the very end of the class.
Good job.
Were you able to find the directories?
Wait, no, we did not fix it.
Let's take a picture, guys.
Okay, but we need to have lights. Now, and I think it's not look good without lights. You want makeup?
Are we moving?
Makeup? No, but we need to, like, listen, if I have to take a picture, I have to come to the yard, I'm out.
You're just getting your hair done.
Yeah. Huh?
You just got your hair done.
I don't mind.
Eddie, can you do that?
Hey. Just tell Paulina you want to build a glam studio in the back. You come and get your done for free.
You need to start with that here and then come every day. We can do it right here. We need you to go over there and take a picture.
I already got you your ice machine, so stop complaining.
Well, there's only a few of us. If you want to do it and just look in front of this actually 20.
Yeah.
You can do it here.
Yes.
Es mucha información, muy interesante todo, pero no.
Yo lo que
You're taking a
al lado de cada cosa que. Today you're in the back of the phone. Yeah.
Yeah. Eddie, get a picture. No, you get it.
Are we turning to the side?
Get in the picture.
Congratulations.
Oh, you're gonna see.
Eddie, get in here. Are you want to stand in the middle?
I'm taller. Can you come up here and I'll go back there because I'm taller? Because if I can't hear you.
Did it turn on?
Oh, yeah.
You gotta get over here.
Button up.
Can you kind of go over that way? Can you stand over that way so we can get the sign?
Yeah,
Can you go closer? honey? Okay, perfect. Can you see the sign?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Videographer too.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay. One, two, three, or?
Oh, 1, 2.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jackie was sweating.
I know, that's why I'm not in the big bus.
What? No, no. Jackie was sweating.
Mess up my mind.
Oh, that's it?
Oh, she's really,
He's smelling for my hair. Yeah, can you please take some because.
I pick them every time I come, and every time I come, they're like all over the place.
When you say that, for your drive.
Yeah, I think I'm.
And there's supposed to be.
Michael,
What to?
I have a Supra in my car that broke.
Box?
Yeah.
That's what, bring it to the office, it's all that.
Can I just give it to you? And then next time you come, you bring me the other one.
I think there's some.
Favoritism? Yes, I have favoritism.
No, I don't really want some stuff like that, so it's just fine.
Ready?
All right, so what's up, ladies? What are we doing? I didn't know who your friends are.
You don't see the sun, right? It's like, let's go live, don't bring it up, send it. No, I didn't.
I'm going to speak at this.
Okay, perfect.
I will be next week, this will come out. That's important thing to say.
All right, I'm back to seeing you, what the family.
There we go. Let's just go.
So I said, that's, you know.
How you doing? Good? All right. I think March will be. A busy day. I had to be on our first stop for our meeting.
Bye-bye. We just have a company by their names.
I didn't know you were going on pop. Okay.
As soon as the door.
Voted without an exception, and I have to be there.
All right. Well, just know that the alternate meeting, then call it.
But it's not like a meeting.
Yeah, don't get my clause.
I just want to.
What about the meeting with your other?
Because one of the members had said we have.
One member?
offices, no, some of them.
We changed it to the one member,
Susie and,
Susie.
Susan Carter.
Susie.
And Susie was always here that one.
Susie.
I wanna make sure we have both offices represented.
Especially because we have so much stuff in.
But I would like, but then like, when it came to hire, like the person that suggested it, tried to wrong off, whether this is why we try not to bounce around. I do what I'm told, but the never do then. Never do it for you, right?
Better than the same, just like.
Well, they proposed that.
Manda, porque yo también quiero café.
¿Sí?
They had her, position that's the. I'm sure you were part of that conversation, actually.
No, it's not.
No?
It's stupid vote. Because first of all, I don't even think you can vote on the confidence.
There's a class in there.
And second of all, you have one.
Some people like it, because like, for example, Lana, she's like in that building, and then some people don't have here, so. Same business for me. I don't, sure people don't, think somebody really should be doing this, and then, like, Hollywood. Yeah, fine. Yeah. Well, we got the children, maybe, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for having us. We'll be back again soon. I think that was calendar for March, right?
No, they did that.
Okay.
So we're trying to do a lot of things online and in person, because we have a lot of agents that like. Trainings that have. So they have been like with the time to agencies.
Yeah.
No,
And then next time, make sure we have like,
Yeah, you.
notes on how to cast.
Yeah.
There's IT issues. But luckily, that won't happen today. Cause I'm tech savvy, but I'm not tech savvy.
I'm not gonna have to, like, whenever I'm at, they want your tickets.
Yeah.
But yeah, make sure, and he'll probably, I'll make sure.
They're good.
Bye. You too.
Insurance, yeah, I'm paying that loan, you know, and.
No, pues debe, hay que quedar.
Or otherwise they wouldn't. Wait. Yeah. They come off the city block.
Are you kidding?
I kid you not.
But if you want to see that, so.
Well, neither do I, so I don't need to make it worse. You know,
Yeah. A ver cómo le
I
va.
don't need to make it worse.
Ya que hagan, no le vuelvo a invitar.
That's why you don't drink your coffee.
Pero hay que guardar, porque esto es demasiado. Lo ponemos a leer.
Well, you know, my guy came by here, I don't know what she wanted, but she didn't come in.
I wanted a check, but she was afraid to come in.
I know, she was coming in and then she said, call in.
I wanna check.
Huh?
I wanna check.
Right?
I'll take one too.
I would not be afraid to come and get my money.
Right?
I'd be like, I'd be like,
She texted me, she's like, I didn't wanna interrupt, so I didn't wanna go and get my check, and I was like, I would totally interrupt, I was like,
You can make it 5 figures.
yeah, 5 figures?
I.
Yeah. That's it? That's charging. Ready,
don't wanna hold it for,
right,
you know.
next week,
Let me say that, that was.
that you were nice and you only asked for 5 figures? I think that's nice. I think that's, you know, the kind of.
Pero.
Ya, ¿sí? ¿Ya you already did the one?